You've exceeded expectations, whelp. Who'd have thought a nobody from nowhere would prove so useful? This had to be done. The Dalrita weren't just rebels. They were a disease, threatening everything we've built. And taking down Briadan, that was a personal pleasure. The man was a heretic, a fool, who forgot his place. Well, the less you know, the better you'll sleep. Brandon and his lackeys stumbled onto something. A place that should never see the light of day, and they wanted to expose it. Heresy, plain and simple. King Arthur gave everything to secure Avalon's peace. To reveal such places would spit on his memory and open the gates to chaos. And we can't have that during the war. War is about control, and preventing heresy is how we maintain it. Let's not test my patience. I've told you more than you need to know. Whatever it is, it stays buried, end of story. Because he was an idiot blinded by desperation. He thought exposing it would shake the South, destroy morale, and somehow help his cause. Instead, he only doomed himself and his people. And for what? To align himself with savages? To play at power he couldn't grasp? The man was beyond redemption. Now, I'll leave this fish-sticking dump behind and return to Camelot. There's work to be done, and One Eye's revolt was just a symptom of something worse. Killing him won't stop the next rat from rising. Here, take this. My directive for appointing a new captain. Tradition says I should do it in person, but frankly, I've got bigger priorities. GOZ will take over as interim captain, and Killian will handle quartermaster duties. They're the only ones in this cesspit who aren't completely out of touch with reality. When I return, I'll make it official, but I doubt anything will change. Oh, don't confuse Briadan's lunatics with the Dalrita as a whole. Camelot respects its agreements with the Council of Elders. What you saw here was just a pack of fools dreaming of taking Avalon for themselves. That dream ended today. Ah, yes. The great ritual. Here's what you need to know. There's an old gong in the sunken village. They say striking it starts the test, meant to separate the worthy from the rest. Romantic, isn't it? Reality is far less poetic. Those trials, they killed most who tried. And those who survived, well, they were changed, twisted, unnatural. Only those who endured were worthy of becoming keepers. The so-called guardians of Excalibur. But ask yourself this. If none of them are alive to tell the tale, how much of this ritual is truth and how much is just desperate myth? I don't know, and I don't care. I don't have time for folktales and the nonsense of these glorified fishermen. If you want to chase their stories, go ahead, but don't drag me into it. I'm here to fight a war, not indulge in their fantasies. Now, I've wasted enough time here. Stay alive if you can, or don't, it's your choice. I have more important matters to deal with. Sometimes it's nice to just sit and think.
Why would you want to fix it? Do you even know what it is?
Take some advice from an old man. If there's a giant, ancient statue that somebody tried to turn to dust, they must have had a good reason for it.
Well, if you put it that way, then I suppose I have to tell you the truth. Otherwise, the terror from the sea will bite me in the ass while I bathe.
Of course I can fix it. I've been doing this kind of thing since I could swing a hammer. It's a skill we pass down from master to apprentice, generation to generation. Nothing fancy, just good old blacksmithing. Obviously, though, you'd have to bring me a couple things so that I can actually do it. How did you, oh, forget it. I don't even want to know. Just give me a moment.
Here. That should do it. Do whatever you need to, if you're really sure about this. But please try to come back alive.
I have nothing to tell you. I could try to talk you out of it, but I'm guessing that wouldn't work.
You've met Galahad. Why isn't he here himself? This can't be real. Galahad confirms Captain Brandon's death and calls him a traitor to the Keepers. He's named me interim captain. Me? And says he'll make it official on his next visit. His seal is here. It's undeniable. If Galahad believes I'm the one to set things right, I won't argue. Someone has to. But Brandon, a traitor? I can hardly believe it. I'd heard rumors of his dealings with One Eye and his faltering judgment. If he sided with the enemy, then this end was inevitable. Now it's on me to make sure the Keepers don't follow Brandon into ruin. I'll undo the lockdown. The Horns of the South will rise again. Properly. Galahad has promised reinforcements, and I'll see to rebuilding our ranks. Recruitment, training, real purpose. For the first time in years, I have hope. Not just for the Keepers, but for the South itself. Come with me. I have to let the Keepers know.
South. We've lost Brandon, a captain who led with grit and a sharp mind. His absence weighs on us all. But our purpose does not die with him. The Horns of the South are more than one leader, more than one name. We are a legacy, a bond that cannot be broken. We faced loss, we faced doubt, but we're still here. The Horns of the South do not falter. We endure. And today, we rise once more. We return to the roots that made us strong, to the traditions that bound us together. The Horns of the South will reclaim their honor, their purpose, and their place in these lands. Our name will mean something again. Galahad has pledged tighter bonds with Camelot. Together, we will stand stronger, and all will know that the South is shielded, its people protected. Remember your oaths. From this day forward, we stand united. With each other, with Camelot, and no threat will scatter us again. The danger from the Dalriada and the bandits has passed, and others will come as they always do. Let them. We will face them as we always have, with courage, with steel, and with unwavering loyalty. The Horns of the South do not bow. We do not break. We stand together. Now, let's show the world that we are not just surviving. We are thriving. To the South! To the Horns!
Quartermaster, finally! About time someone noticed my talents. Vergas can play captain all he likes. I'll be the one deciding who eats, fights, or freezes. Please, state your business. Do you keep bandits' fingers as trophies?
Enough, Merlin. No. If...
You've got another piece of the king. The king. You and you. Every. You've opened. Start.
Luck's a fickle thing.
I told myself I'd take a more hands-on approach than Brandon. I'd focus on the keep and avoid politics. Turns out, that's about all I can do anyway. Brandon left us in a precarious position with Camelot. They wouldn't even let me choose my own quartermaster. I'll take time to rebuild their trust, if that's even possible. Still, it could have been worse. Much worse. It's too early to say if he'll be good at the job, but the problem is, he's not one of us, and he's never shown much respect for the Keepers. That role should have gone to one of my men, but Brendan's betrayal made that impossible. We need their support now more than ever, and I'm glad they're finally paying attention to us. But this isn't how I wanted things to go. I hoped Camelot would see us as their strength in the south, a strength that just needed fostering. Instead, they treat us like a den of vipers, something they have to keep under constant watch in case we betray them again. That's true. Whatever the reasoning, Camelot's support should help stabilize the region. Hopefully, we'll appoint new keepers and finally put an end to the bandit problem. Don't get me wrong, I still believe this is the best outcome we could have hoped for after the mess Brandon made. It'll secure our future, but his betrayal left a stain on the keepers, and it weighs on me. Maybe more than it should. You think I don't see you?
Well, if Camelot's got the south, I hope they're smart enough to keep their hands off my flask.
Well, it's definitely going to be harder to do business with him than it was with Brandon, that's for sure. Ugh, poor bastard. Not like he didn't have it coming, though. He had some good ideas for this place, but treason is treason. Now, Virgus is going to bury the horns of the South in the past, much to Camelot's delight. But that's really not my problem. As long as there's money, I'll stick around. And when it dries up, I'll be long gone. Luck's a fickle thing.
Still alive, eh? I'm more than happy to oblige.
to summon me again. Excalibur. Wait. Is it really you? You, who come from a time beyond. Show yourself before me.
It seems he speaks to me. Allow me to answer him.
Welcome, old friend.
I can see that you know me, but I am a mere shadow of my true self. I don't remember you, Lord of the Seas. Forgive me.
That's what you told me, my friend. The next time we see each other, you will not remember me. But you are here now. The will and the power led you back to this place. Even in this incomplete form.
Where should I look for myself? I wish to restore Avalon to its former glory, yet I don't know how.
Avalon's fate has never rested upon one person alone, not even one as great as King Arthur. Yet here you are, trying again, restless and eager to take the responsibility again. I salute you, my friend.
Tell me what I must do to be worthy to lead Avalon once more. I do not think I have the strength.
Your path is true. Seek wholeness, and Avalon will reveal what it needs from you. And yes, you need to touch Excalibur.
Thank you, my friend.
And you, mortal. You have given yourself to the King's service. You are worthy of a place among the keepers of the South. Arthur, take out your sword and fear no failure. It is yours to take. It always was. I deem you worthy, my friend. The promise I gave thy mother is fulfilled, and thus our pact is ended. You know where to look for your soul. Trust yourself. And when you reach your journey's end, I trust you will make the right choice.
it seems we knew each other well during the war. And this proves that I sought allies beyond our own forces. And I trusted him enough to carry the knowledge of Excalibur. This must count for something. Much the same. He was a fierce warrior, determined to win at any cost. I watched him closely, and I found him too consumed by cruelty. That is why I chose Sebel and Palamedes as my closest confidants, not him. Yet this Galahad still seems devoted to Camelot and the old ways, and he remains just as fierce.
am his will, the fire that bends the world to his command. I am the blade that shapes kings and shatters tyrants.
Enough, Merlin. You can't keep throwing lives into this abyss. These experiments, they're destroying what remains of us.
Destroying us? They're what's keeping us alive. Do you think the Four Dwellers will stop for pity or mercy? Every soul we lose here saves 10 more on the battlefield. You told me to do this. You sanctioned this. And I'm close to getting it right. I know it.
No, we can't justify this. There's no victory worth such a cost.
You know full well, Arthur, that this isn't about victory. It's about survival. If we don't push these boundaries, there will be no future for your kingdom, for Avalon. You dream of peace, but without victory, there will be no peace to dream of. The path ahead is brutal, but if we relent now, we lose everything.
And yet we keep losing people and gaining nothing in return. We must change the path.
They volunteered for this.
They volunteered to save our kingdom, and you've gotten no closer to doing it. Their sacrifices cannot be in vain, Merlin. Find another way. Use your mind, your wisdom. Leave this slaughterhouse you've created behind.
A different way. That will take time, and resources we may not have. The enemy won't wait.
They will if I make them. Whatever it takes, I will buy you that time. Find me a weapon that wins this war without annihilating what we fight to protect.
Whatever it takes.
Yes. Let it be known that it was my decision, and I will bear the consequences of it.
Oh no, my king. People can never know. It was all my idea, and you knew nothing about it. All of us have our role to play. You are the leader, and they need to love you. If we win, you need to become more than a man. You need to become a symbol.
Now, I remember. Before you judge me, it all seems so obvious now, doesn't it? The right thing to do. It wasn't back then. and you can trust me on that. We were on the brink of losing the war, and wars aren't won with wishful thinking. There was no clean path, no noble answer. Only the weight of reality pressing down on our necks. Something had to be done, or everything we fought for would have been in vain. And in the end, the ones who stepped forward, who chose to pay the price, made it possible. And their deaths gave Merlin the knowledge he needed to finish his work. To find something that could really turn the tide in our favor. Justified? No. Justification is for those who have the luxury of doubt. And I had a kingdom to save. They were brave men who volunteered their lives, just as they did every time we rode onto the battlefield. The difference was that if Merlin succeeded, one man's sacrifice could have saved us all, could have ended the war before more blood was spilled. If sacrificing a few meant the survival of all, then there was no choice at all. Maybe they never saw justice. Maybe their real stories were erased from history. Call it cruelty. Call it madness. But if I'd done nothing, there would be no Avalon left to argue over. But the kingdom still stands. The people live. And that has to mean something. I did. But this wasn't about pride. It wasn't about saving face. It was about survival. The truth about all this would have broken my people. I couldn't allow that. And a king doesn't get to flinch. If that meant carrying the weight alone, so be it. I would make that choice again if I had to. I told him to stop the experiments on our men, but to keep going. And he did. He started experimenting on the Four Dwellers, the enemy. If their bodies could be broken down, their power turned against them. Wasn't that their own doing? Wasn't that fair? So he figured out how to twist the Four Dwellers' power into something we could wield. I told him to conquer the weirdness. And in the end, he did. He found a way to make me stronger. Stronger than any man had the right to be. It wasn't just magic. It was something deeper, older. A force that reshaped me. And with it, we won. The war ended. Avalon was ours. The bloodshed stopped. The banners were raised. And the kingdom stood safe. That's the question, isn't it? I keep thinking about Seawall. He was ready to pay the ultimate price for what we were fighting for. And I thought he did. I grieved him. Told myself his sacrifice had meaning, that he had given his life for Avalon. And now, after all these years, finding him like this, I told myself I carried the weight of my choices. But seeing him, I wonder if I ever truly did.
look again, like you've seen something you wish you hadn't. Another piece of the king's soul reclaimed, right? What did it show you this time? Merlin. Ah, Merlin and his obsession with the weirdness. The king thought it could save us. Merlin thought it could be controlled. Together, they were willing to tear the world apart to win. I was a prototype for Merlin's latest idea, immortality. Me and Seawall, the king's loyal pawns. Used and discarded when they found a better way. When they decided to go even deeper into their madness and turn our king into a monster. Fight back. Against who? Merlin? The king? You don't fight gods when you're just a pawn on their board. You endure. You wait. And when the time comes, you either break, or you're left to clean up their mess. That's what I do. What I've always done. Even if he didn't, he should have. He was desperate to win. And desperation doesn't leave room for conscience. Every scream, every scar, even if he didn't see it, he allowed it. That's as good as approving it. Seawall was Merlin's first attempt. I was the last. We could say I was lucky, but to say that would take a truly macabre sense of humor, don't you think? The monsters, the weirdness, the chaos, all of it leads back to them. We're left in the ruins of their grand plans, trying to uphold their ideals, fighting for what never was. It's time to bury all these fairy tales in a well-deserved grave. And that's what I do. Of course he'd say that. There's always a scapegoat and a convenient excuse for men like him. But it doesn't absolve him. Not when he was the one who unleashed this madness on all of us. He wanted victory, no matter the cost. And when you want something that badly, you stop looking too closely at what's being done in your name. And, after all, who said we were supposed to win this war? Who said we were supposed to survive? You've seen what they did, what he did. And that's not the end of the story. It's not the extent of their sins. Find the pieces of his soul. Put him back together, if that's what it takes. And then we, or I alone, if you decide to defy me, can end the cycle. Either way, we will get to his resurrection. I've seen it too many times to believe the cycle will be broken before it happens. But know this. Once he's whole, Arthur's power, his mistakes, and his madness will all return. And when that moment comes, I'll be there. Whether to stand with you or step over you. The choice is yours. Just remember that when that happens, and you stand by his side, there won't be room for both of you. Start. You've already started. But if you want the next piece, head to Kunacht. The menhir there is failing, the weirdness swallowing what's left of the village. You will need to find another artifact. The shield our king gave to Palamedes. He was one of the king's finest, a voice of reason amidst the madness. But it didn't save him or his legacy from what they had coming. Find the shield, and then, well, we will meet again. We'll see if your perspective changes.
It was supposed to be a reminder. The sword was never just steel. It was a symbol of what we stood for. Strength justice, the will to carve a path forward. A weapon, yes, but also a promise. I wanted them to remember, to fight for those ideals, to uphold them, even when I was gone, even when there was no king left to lead them. Merlin saw Avalon for what it was long before the rest of us. He told me that Tintagel wouldn't hold, not forever. That the weirdness would gnaw at our walls, at our minds, at our very bones, until nothing human remained. But he still fought to map a way forward, to carve some sense into this land. And in the end, the land swallowed him whole anyway. We were losing the battle at Tuathan's mouth, our last push before the weirdness took the field. Merlin was with us, bleeding, exhausted, but still weaving his spells. Then it came. Not a beast, not a man, not something we ever had words for. A shadow, wearing 1,000 torn banners, moving like it had no shape of its own. Merlin raised his staff, spoke a name I didn't recognize. And then he was gone. Not killed, not struck down, just gone. Like the land itself had taken him back.